haven't y'all tried miracle food yet?
Miracle food.
Mega food.
Miracle foods.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Miracle food.
Please support your Black businesses and support your health. This is a tool to genuinely heal people. It's through the roof. I feel like I'm low-key levitating in this bitch. This should be in your cabinet.
So I seen that you were doing a video on the YouTube channel and you put why mainstream media hates Farrakhan. Could you kind of expound more so on that? And how come he's shunned by a lot of media outlets and other people as well?
Well, because America does not benefit when the black man becomes a man. America benefits when the black man either remains a little boy, a little girl, or a clown. That's why you tend to see certain types of black men that elevate through society. Maybe if it's like a comedian or a guy who's dressing like a woman or whatever. I think you saw the picture of Lakeith Standfield out here with a dress on and some leggings on or whatever he had. I don't know what but he's dressed like a woman. And that's a consistent theme. And it makes sense if you think about what male competition represents. Male competition, when it's mano a mano, you tend to have scenarios where someone tries to claim the position of the alpha and they subordinate the other male to the beta or and beyond. So to some extent, America is it just a more comfortable society when the black man has submitted himself as the beta, because there are so many things about us to make us a natural alpha. We're bigger, we're stronger, we're smarter, our penises are bigger. You know, the women want us. That's a huge threat, right? So when you start to see a black man really truly embrace his purpose and become the man that he's meant to be, to stand tall, lift his head up, read all the books, and work, he's got the big muscles and everything else to go with it. That's a very threatening thing, So Farrakhan represents black male strength. Remember, when Farrakhan was 60 years old, I think he was benching like 300-400 pounds or something. I mean, this man was intellectually, physically strong. Other men followed behind him. The Nation of Islam, they don't back down from nobody. They don't back down from the government. They don't back down from the thugs. They don't back down from nothing. And everybody respects that. So when you see a man that has that kind of power, where his presence can get a black man who was hooked on crack and make him into literally one of the most elite members of the community, who else can do that? No one else can do that. So that power of Farrakhan is something that has always just been a threat to America. And then when he challenges the Jewish community, that only creates a greater degree of a greater number of hurdles for him, because the Jewish community, they fight back too. They fight, and they don't even fight fair. They will defend Israel to the end. They use propaganda to control the narrative and all these other things. So, and they own everything. Right. So when you see that conflict between Farrakhan and the Jewish community in particular, that just creates a scenario where a guy like a Farrakhan is never really going to be embraced by white mainstream media, because it's pretty much owned by a certain group of people. And y'all know who that is. So ultimately, America's going to hate Farrakhan. They should hate Farrakhan. And I love Farrakhan because they dislike Farrakhan, because the fact that they dislike Farrakhan means that he's doing the right thing for us.
Wow. Dope. You brought up Lakeith Stanfield, one of my favorite actors, but I saw the picture you're referring to and I was like, God damn it. God damn it. So let me ask you this, because he's a free thinker and he's somebody that thinks out the box, and I agree with a lot of what he says. But like I said, I didn't necessarily agree with that picture. So obviously when this gets posted, you're going to see the argument on the other side that just different types of men, not just the man that we sit here and we're talking about, the strong alpha man, the one that takes care of his family, the one that's, proud to be a heterosexual male that takes care of his responsibilities. There's different types of men nowadays in this society. Talk about that argument and that other side. Is there room or a place, in your opinion, for another type of male other than the one we're speaking about right now?
Of course. I don't think anybody here would agree that a man does not have a right to be whatever he wants to be. I've got people in my family that have all kinds of, interesting backgrounds and lifestyle preferences, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Right. What the problem is this. We know that there are people out there that are in the LGBT community. I encourage the community to always just be aware of that. Right. But that's a small percentage of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So The problem is the propaganda comes in when you take something that is minor and you pretend like it's major. You know, you take something that's 1 out of 50 and you act like it's like 1 out of 3. And that's what they do to the black man. Because think about this. I could name several prominent black males in Hollywood who have put on a dress in the last 5 or 10 years. There's several. This is very long, starting with Terry Crews and Lakeith, going all the way down. How many high-level Leonardo DiCaprio level white males have you seen dressed like women? Can you think about the time you saw Brad Pitt putting on a dress? George Clooney? Any of those guys? No.
Nope.
You don't see it. So there's something there. There's an agenda there. And what you really are seeing, I encourage people to just see it for what it is. What you're really seeing is that Hollywood is a weird, debaucherous place. My daughter wants to be an actress. I don't want her to go to Hollywood because they do all kinds of weird, freaky shit out there. They're just strange people. And so you have to kind of be very, not skeptical, but just be aware that typically when a black person rises up the ranks of Hollywood real fast, there's usually something happening behind the scenes you're not aware of. Somebody's, sucking a penis, somebody done, did whatever. Yeah. And that's just reality, So a lot of these very prominent male actors, these so-called alpha male black men are gay. And there's nothing wrong with them being gay. The problem is when you are mass promoting black male femininity to the community as kind of like the standard template, as if that's just what every other black man is doing, because that ain't the case. And again, that goes back to what I was saying, that the black male is very threatening. We are scary. I scare the hell out of white people. I mean, the way white people run from me, you would think that I was a mass murderer. Right. You would think that I had a criminal record this long, that I done did 20 years in prison. I've done none of that. All I am is a black man with a PhD who's smarter than you, who's not scared to say what he believes and stands up for his community. That's what scares them. And that should help us understand the game that you're playing. Our problem is that we are at war, and a lot of us don't realize we're at war. We think there's peace. This is not peace. This is war. They declare war on you from before you were born, when they wanted your mama to abort you. That's why they put all the abortion clinics in the hood and all this other stuff. So ultimately, I think when you see it that way, it shouldn't offend you anymore. It should just wake you up and make you say, okay, people are going to do what they're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Period.
What about, we had a lot of actors, actresses on here, and some of them will say, because we ask them that about the dress all the time, probably at least 30 of them, and they will say, I'm not this, I'm not that. It's just a part in the movie, separating, from themselves. What do you say about that aspect of people who come on here and say that? Like, they're just separating it. It's a part in the movie. They're getting paid to do so.
I mean, I just think that's bullshit. Media impacts life. Art imitates life. Life imitates art. Children are influenced by what they see. Back in the day, again, another guy that they've decided to lynch, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby used to do all these shows about HBCUs and going to HBCUs. And HBCU attendance went up because he put a different world on TV. That was, so people follow what they see in the media. That's why corporations will pay hip hop artists and actors to wear certain clothing or whatever. I saw a big Coach ad with, in the airport with Michael B. Jordan with a Coach bag and a jacket on. And why do they do that? Are they stupid? Or they just want to give their money away? No, they paid him that money because they know that when people see him with their product, they're going to copy that behavior. So when people see things in the movies, impressions of other groups of people are formed. I've been watching this cowboy movie called it's really good, called Yellowstone, with my wife, and it's all about cowboys. And cowboys are interesting. There's just a wild, crazy group of people, and most of them are white. And my wife and I were sitting there saying, "Wow, we didn't know cowboys lived like that." And so here we are. Now, mind you, my wife has a PhD like me, so we're two smart people, highly educated, and we're literally sitting there, thinking that this must be what cowboys do, because we don't know any cowboys. So that's what they do with black people.
Yes, sir.
Right? So when you going around the world and calling yourself, this and that, the N-word, talk shit about your women and everything else, like they're like, oh, well, this is what those people do. Wow. And check this out. Here's the crazy part. we were in Louisville, Kentucky this week, and there happened to be a convention of ranchers and farmers at the place. It's basically a bunch of white dudes with cowboy hats and boots coming in. My wife goes up to one of them and says, "Wow, are you a cowboy?" And the guy said, "No, we're ranchers and farmers," because they did not want to be called cowboys. And that's when we figured out, like, oh, maybe them being called cowboys is like us being called the N-word, right? So ultimately, a lot of times people form impressions of other groups of people they don't understand from what they see in the media. So if the black man has always presented himself in a certain way, the thug, the coon, the clown, or the ignorant guy, or the man who hates women, then guess what? People are going to copy that. Another good example is when they did blaxploitation movies in the 70s, and they had these pimping, macking movies coming out. Well, my father said at that time, all the young guys wanted to be like the Mac. So this stuff is real, man. Media has tremendous power. The reason I encourage everybody to read a book called An Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. It's not anti-Semitic. It's a great tribute to the genius and the brilliance that the Jewish community showed to create Hollywood from nothing. Black people can do the same thing, probably do it better. In this book, they explain that part of the reason that they wanted to control the movie industry is because they wanted to control how the world viewed them.
Yes.
Right? So anybody who thinks that is just entertainment, unfortunately, that person needs to be educated on what entertainment actually does. In fact, my wife is an expert on the subconscious mind, and she says, in your mind, there is no such thing as make-believe. In your subconscious mind, there is no such thing as fake. That's why you got to be careful even about the things you say to yourself. Like if you're thin and you keep telling yourself you're fat, your mind will really believe that you're fat. Right. So always be thoughtful about what you put in your mind, man, because you put that poison in your mind, it's going to poison your entire soul.
To introduce the show, when I sent this to Sam, asked, oh God, that nigga said, oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm a hustler. I could stand out on the beach and sell sandbags. Some things can't last, but this ain't just a podcast. This is Sam Ant and oh God, Cass. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.